Hello, and welcome to this episode of Bring a Product Idea to Life. So, today I want to talk to you about your Amazon product listings and how to create a product listing that converts. And while this episode is specifically about Amazon, actually, the advice I'm going to give today, everything I'm going to share will work well wherever you sell your products. Back when I was selling on Amazon years ago now, I remember that I wrote my product listings for Amazon because Amazon was sort of the trickiest place to write product listings for because of the structure you have to follow, which we'll talk about later in this episode. But actually, I found those listings worked really well on my own website as well. So wherever you're listing, you're going to get some really great tips for writing product listings that convert. But first of all, what do I mean by a great product listing and what do I mean by to convert? Well, essentially, what I mean is a product listing that will make you sales because unlike selling face to face, you're not there to explain your product, what it is, what it does, what it's great for, answer all the questions that people have, all of those great things that we can do when we sell our products in real life we can't do online. So our product listings have to sell our products for us, explain to the customer exactly why they might want to buy our product and answer all of their questions. And this is especially important if your product is a bit unique or has unique features, because if you don't tell people and don't do a good job of doing that in your product listing, they won't know. And something I'll say right from the start is I'm always saying to my clients, don't be shy when it comes to sell when it comes to your product listings, as silly as that might be. You really have to spell it out why someone should buy this. To give you a real example, when I was selling on Amazon, and one of my products was a bamboo baby towel, and at the time it was the biggest and thickest baby towel that you could get. And I used to say that in my product listing text. I would literally say this is the biggest, thickest bamboo baby towel on the market, because it was true. It probably wouldn't be now, but back then it was. I did that because I didn't want my customers to have to look at other product listings, look at mine, and try and figure out the TOG rating and the if that's what it's called, and the dimensions. Because yes, they could have looked at other listings, compared them to mine, and realised that mine was the biggest and thickest. But actually, it was a lot easier if I just told them. And it's the same with any sort of key selling features of your product. You need to actually don't be shy and tell people about them. Please, 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 never be shy when it comes to selling your products. So let's talk a little bit about the structure of an Amazon product listing, because Amazon have a format that you absolutely have to follow. It is important to know what it is and what you can and can't do. So the first section of your Amazon product listing is the product title. So the title is 200 characters and it needs to be clear, it needs to be keyword rich, so it needs to have all of the keywords in there that a customer might be using if they were searching for a product like yours. But the trick is it also needs to be readable. So something I see occasionally on less well written product listings is lots and lots of information, but it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense if you were reading it or scanning it. And what we have to remember is that when a customer goes onto Amazon to search and they type something in the search bar and then they get the whole page of results, what they see is the main product image and then the product title, and they don't even see the whole title because the end is cut off. So the title and the main image for your listing have to convince your customer that it's worth clicking through to find out more. So the title is really, really important, because we can't convert into a sale unless they click on your listing, and they're not going to click on your listing if the title and the image don't give them everything they want. And a great tip for this is if there's a key piece of information in your product listing, so let's say it's you sell a food product and it's vegan, put that up front. Don't put that the last thing at the end. The space at the end of your product listing is great for things like colour, which the customer could ideally see in the picture anyway. Sizing, so if your bottle of shampoo is 250 mils, that doesn't need to be at the front of the listing, because actually, is the size of the bottle going to be the reason the customer buys your product or not, or clicks through to look at your listing or not? Probably not. So that's the kind of thing you can put right at the end of your title, and save save the front of the title, the bit that's going to be seen in search, for the things that are absolutely key. The next thing that you have is 5 bullet points, which are called key features. And while they are called key features, I think this is a great place for you to talk about the benefits of your product. So something I see quite often is 5 bullet points, and they list out maybe the dimensions of the product, the material, that it's machine washable, list of features, which is great, and customers do want to know the features of your product. But why not talk about the features by explaining the benefit to them? So, for example, if you sell a baby product and it's machine washable, obviously that's a huge, there's a huge benefit to parents, because they probably don't have the time or the inclination to hand wash something. that's such a pain. But the fact it can go in the machine, get washed, be good as new to use again soon after, that's a real benefit. So word it like that. And coming back to what I said earlier, please don't be shy about selling your products in your product listing, because that is exactly what they are there for. And then the final piece of your Amazon product listing is a description. And I have to say, this is the one that's probably the least important. The text description I'm talking about, not A+, which we'll come on to, but the actual text description is probably the least important. Firstly, in terms of SEO, but also in terms of what it is, where it is, because most customers will not see, for most product categories, let's come back to this, for most product categories, you will see the title and the bullet points at the top of the listing, and the product description. So the text part of the description is kind of halfway down the listing. It's usually between all of the other products Amazon are suggesting you buy and the different information about what category your product in. It's really, really hard to find because it's a block of text. You can do a little bit of formatting. If you know some HTML, you can add in paragraphs, you can bold and italicize text, and that is about it. Maybe even put some bullet points, but that is it. So when it comes to your description, your product listing, the description part, that text piece is actually the least important, but it is still important. For me, I think that's a good place to put in anything that, for any reason, you couldn't get into the key bit of the text, which is your title and your bullet points. And you have to use that field even if you have A+ content. But I'm really hoping that you have A+, because that is an opportunity for you to share more about your product, to use more images, visuals, graphics to really sell your product. Coming back to images, actually, I should say that when I'm talking about your key features and all of the key, the benefits of your products, make sure you have images that back that up. So if you're saying your product is good to be used outside, have a photo of your product outside. If it's designed to be used by children, have a photo of children interacting or using your product. Whatever your product is, have some great lifestyle images that back up what you're saying in the text. You can also have infographics or graphs or whatever you need to highlight key features of your product. So make sure that your images and your key features work really well together. And then when it comes onto the A+ content, this is where you can share more about your brand, your brand personality. Maybe some people like to include information about the founders. You can have more lifestyle shots. This is the place to add a bit of personality to your listing, as well as help to sell your product. When it comes to A+ content, I don't really like the formatting that Amazon have. You might have seen they have these templates where you can use very set templates where you can drop a picture here and a bit of text there. What I always advise my clients is just to use one of the just use blocks of images, 5 images stacked on top of each other. That looks really nice. You can use your own colours, your own branding, your own fonts, and that creates something that looks much more professional. And if you look at a lot of Amazon product listings, this is what they are doing. So that would be my best advice. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when I refer to A+ content, we do have a whole episode on Amazon brand registry. But basically, if you register your brand with Amazon, which you need to have a trademark, either registered or pending in the country in which you wish to sell, you become a brand registered seller and you get lots of features for free. So A+ content is one of them. And you can also have a storefront on Amazon. It's definitely worth doing. It's completely free. As I say, the only cost is the cost of having a trademark. So, which is, I don't know the exact price. I think it's about £130 or something along those lines in the UK. So not super expensive. You may have one already. If you have a trademark and you're not brand registered, I'd say register. And if you don't have a trademark, it might be something worth thinking about. And then the other great thing you can have with your A+ content is a comparison table. So that sits at the bottom of the A+ usually, and that's where you can highlight other products in your range so a customer can see all the different things you sell without necessarily going to your store. Something I have seen people do here is if they're selling a product with variations, so different colours, they might put all the different colours in this table. Personally, I think that's a waste of space because customers can see all the colours you sell, for example, at the top of your listing where they're choosing the variation that they want. So use this to show other products in your range, particularly products that complement each other. So I'm going to talk now about a few common mistakes that I see to avoid. So the first one is keyword stuffing. So what I mean by this is just throwing keywords into your listing, having the same thing said time and time again. Amazon have actually made a change to their product titles now, where you can only use the same word twice. So if, for example, if you were selling baby shoes, you can't have baby shoes, first shoes for baby, baby's first shoes, all in your title. You can only use the word baby and shoes twice, which I think is to stop this, as I say, keyword stuffing and make sure that set titles make a bit more sense. And I think it is a good thing to do. The second thing I see is bullet points that are quite vague, as I mentioned earlier, so no real benefits, just listing out features. And the third thing is not using A plus, particularly if you're brand registered and you're eligible to use that. I realise I've talked a little bit about keywords in this episode and having keyword rich product description. So we have talked about keywords before, but in case you haven't listened to any of the previous episodes, let's talk about where to find them. So when I talk about keywords, I'm talking about the things that the customer types into the Amazon search bar in order to find your product. And there are a few ways that you can find keywords. There are a few ways that you can find keywords. The first thing you can do is you can go and use the Amazon search bar as if you're an Amazon customer. So I'm doing this in real life now. So if you're watching me on YouTube, you're going to see me typing. If you're not watching me on YouTube, remember that you can watch me on YouTube. So I've just gone onto the Amazon search bar and I've searched for baby towel because I'm pretending that I'm going to write an Amazon product listing for a towel for babies. So when I type baby towel into Amazon search bar, the first thing that comes up is baby towels newborn. So I know that that's the most popular search term related to baby towels on Amazon. And after that, it's baby towel poncho, baby towel with hood, baby towel 6 to 12 months, baby towels boy, baby towels newborn girl. There's quite a few there. So if I was to be writing this Amazon product listing, I would take a note of all of these search terms and then I would make sure that I was including them in my product description. The title is the most heavily weighted for SEO, then the bullet points, then the description, and there are also some back-end search terms. That's where you add a string of keywords that are relevant to your product. You don't have any repetition in here, so you wouldn't put baby towels boys, baby towels girls. You would just put baby towels boys. No, baby towels boys, girls. You wouldn't put that towel in multiple times or anything like, or baby or anything like that. You can't put competitors' names in here as well. So even if it might turn out that some of your competitors' names are keywords, they're things that people are highly searched, but you can't actually use those in your listing for obvious reasons. So the search times is also a really useful field, and this isn't seen by customers, it's just to boost that your SEO. Other ways to get keywords on Amazon is you can use paid for keyword tools. So I like to use Jungle Scout. There's also a tool called Helium 10. So there are options for you as well. If you already have an Amazon Seller Central account, particularly if you're already selling on Amazon, maybe you've written your Amazon product listings and you're just looking for some hints on how to optimize what you have already, there is a new feature on Seller Central called Brand Analytics. And when you go into here, there are actually keywords, there's actually keyword information relevant to your product. You can actually see for your existing products on Amazon, the keywords people are typing in to find your products, which is really going to be really useful for your ads, really useful to optimize your existing listings. But you can also use their keyword tool to research other Amazon keywords for other products, so products you might not be listing as yet. So there's a lot in this brand analytics. It's brand new. Amazon haven't even talked about it yet. But actually last week, because I'd seen that it was there, I've actually recorded a video for my Amazon Made Easy members all about what it is, what's there, how to use it, and what to do with the data that you find. If that's something you're interested in, you can join Amazon Made Easy. It's vickyweinberg.com/membership. And you can get access to that video right away. I will do a podcast episode on that at some point. But if you're keen to find out more, you can join the membership, and then, as I say, you'll have access to that training immediately. I do lots and lots of extra training for my members in there that goes into much more detail than I do on these podcasts. So those are the ways you can get the keywords, and making sure your product listing includes all the relevant keywords is really important, because that is how a customer is going to find your listing. I have spoken about, and we've got an episode all next week all about getting your first sales, and I have to say, having a well-optimized listing isn't everything. So I think sometimes people make the mistake of thinking your product listing's really great and you've got great images and all the keywords are in there, you're going to start making sales immediately. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. There is still work to be done. However, if your product listing is well written, you've got great images and you really sell your product, it will sell. If it's well optimized for search, what will start happening is you will start to rank organically for the keywords in your listing, which means you'll be showing up higher and higher in the search results without paying for it. And that's ultimately what you want. So to summarize, okay, first of all, to summarize everything that I've said, these tips work wherever you are selling your products. It doesn't matter if you're selling on Amazon, on your own website. I think these tips will work for wherever you're selling. Sometimes I get people say to me they're slightly nervous about approaching writing their own product listings, and actually writing people's Amazon product listings is a big part of what I do. I write lots and lots of them, hence why I've now really got a good understanding of what works and doesn't. And the best advice I can give you if you are nervous is that done is better than perfect. If you listen to this episode and you apply everything that I've said and you have a really good shot at writing your listing, that's great. It doesn't have to be perfect. You would have done a really good job. Your listings can be tweaked at any point. You can always make edits, you can always change things. But I think having a go is the most important thing. Your product listing doesn't necessarily need to be perfect, it just needs to sell. And you can treat your listings a bit as a work in progress, because even if you're already selling on Amazon, you've got Amazon product listings, I still recommend to people that every 6 months or so to just have a look at your listings, refresh them. Do they still make sense? Are your images still good enough? Look at your reviews. Are people asking questions you could be answering in your text? Are there any keywords that people are searching for now that you're just not using? All of these things can be done retrospectively, so please don't panic about having the perfect Amazon product listing, immediately, because as I say, all of this is completely doable. So I really hope you found this episode useful. If you would have any questions at all, you can always contact me, Vicki at VickiWeinberg.com. This Friday we have another fantastic interview, and then I will be back on Tuesday with another Amazon Made Easy episode. And until then, I hope you have a lovely week, and I will speak to you soon.